Everybody, welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over the airwaves of Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Number to call up as always is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. This is where you can catch me every day from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. live Eastern Standard Time on the radio. Of course, I'm on television every weekday morning on ESPN 2's First Take from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. A lot of stuff on my mind today. I expected to be talking about A-Rod because of all of this noise about him ending up in Monument Park, a place reserved for the revered amongst Yankee lovers everywhere because of the greatness of those who wore pinstripes. And the fact that Alex Rodriguez's name has entered that equation is something I will speak on in just a few minutes. I will also be speaking about Joey Bosa, number 3 overall pick out of Ohio State, nabbed by the San Diego Chargers in the NFL draft this past April, or was it the beginning of May? I don't remember. It's one of them damn days. Doesn't matter, because some stuff is going on there as well. But I cannot believe what I'm about to talk about right now. I cannot believe that I have to talk about this. I mean, it's very, very difficult for me, ladies and gentlemen, because you have to understand, Tim Tebow is my friend. I like Tim Tebow. Genuinely like him. He's an incredibly nice guy. And I must admit, I got a soft spot for him because despite all the things I've said continuously and perpetually about his inability to throw the damn football, I must confess, the minute I met him, and I had the luxury of sitting down and taking time to talk to him, the more I'm around the guy, the more I liked him. I remember when he was a member of the New York Jets, and he actually thanked me because he appreciated the criticism that I gave him because I wasn't trying to deify him. He said I kept the conversation of football, and that's what he appreciated most. Whether I agreed with him or not, he respected the fact that I kept it about football, because he's right. There's nothing to dislike about this guy. Have you ever met Tim Tebow? I mean, I hate to sound so corny because I believe it's so corny, but in his case, it's so true. You really would like him at the Thanksgiving table. He is the kind of dude that you'd run out and get Christmas gifts for. He is the guy that you wouldn't mind marrying your daughter. It's the absolute truth. But when it came to throwing a football, I've always maintained, and I'll still maintain, he can't throw. But that was football. Now the news comes down today, this morning. Literally an hour before First Take on ESPN 2, we learned that Tim Tebow has transitioned to baseball. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, well, let's wait a minute here. As a quarterback for the Denver Broncos, despite the fact that he led them to a 7-4 record and led them to having the number 1 rushing attack in all of the NFL because of how he could perform off the read option and how he rushed for over 600 yards, I had to confess that it didn't matter to me, because all I thought about was the dude that beat the Kansas City Chiefs by completing 2 passes. All I thought about was the dude that completed 46.5% of his passes. All I thought about was the history of the National Football League and the quarterback position and how somebody who completed less than 58% of their passes was considered average. So what the hell are you if you completed 46% of your passes? This is how I looked at it. This is what I believed. I'm sorry, that's just how I felt. And now you're telling me he's going to play baseball? And I'm thinking along these lines. I must confess to you, I'm thinking along these lines. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You practiced every day, all day, played college football, won national championships, and you still couldn't quarterback, meaning throw the football. But you haven't played baseball since high school? And now you're going to go to the major leagues? Or strive to go to the major leagues and you're going to do damage then? Oh, come on. Come on. I'm trying to be respectful here, but my God, my goodness. What am I supposed to feel? What am I supposed to believe? Where am I supposed to go? You gotta be kidding me. And then for a second there, I quieted it down, collected my thoughts, calmed down a little bit, controlled my emotions, tried to look at things logically, devoid of emotion and what have you, because I saw a tweet from Gary Sheffield saying he's seen Tim Tebow. He's worked out with him. He's done all of these different things. And what happened? Gary Sheffield said that Tim Tebow has potential. Tim Tebow could do some things. He wouldn't rule out anything. Why do I have to pay attention to Gary Sheffield? You mean the Gary Sheffield that played in the major leagues for more than a decade? You mean the Gary Sheffield that smacked 509 home runs in his career and has a lifetime 292 batting average? That Gary Sheffield? I know his name got associated with Balco. I don't want to hear that. Gary Sheffield to me is a man's man. Got nothing but love for Gary Sheffield. And if he says that about Tim Tebow, must I acknowledge it does give me cause to pause? I have no choice. I have to confess. It did give me cause to pause for a few minutes. And then I remembered that we're talking about Tim Tebow here, who I think is allergic to throwing anything effectively, whether it's a football or baseball. Now, can he hit at the plate? Maybe. I don't know. Never seen him. Am I rooting for him to do well? Of course I'm rooting for him. I'm not rooting against Tim Tebow. But do I believe he could pull it off? Hell no. You got guys that have played baseball all their lives that can't pull it off. Who the hell is Tim Tebow to think that he can pull it off? And I see all of these aficionados, these guys who work with him, who trained him, who swear by his potential. And you know what I said? I want names. Get the name and the quotes. Just like that guy House. What's his name? Tom House? Tim House, whatever his name was, who spoke so glowingly about Tim Tebow's ability to throw the football and how you're going to be surprised at how great he looks and wait till you see blah, 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 blah. Well, where the hell has Tim Tebow been? He got sabotaged by the Jets and Rex Ryan as far as I'm concerned. But what did he do when he went to the Patriots? Why didn't anybody else pick him up? You know why? Because when you play the quarterback position, the requirement of the job description is to be able to throw the football. And that is that. I got nothing but respect for Tim Tebow, nothing but love for him as a person and a human being. I truly don't. I truly have nothing against him. I genuinely like him. I'm rooting for him. And Tim Tebow, if you're out there watching, listening, I want you to know, I hope you do well. I hope you become an elite professional in some sport, whether it's baseball or football. I just sincerely doubt it. Baseball, basically because you've been away from the game since high school and you're 29 years old now. Football is because I've just never seen a man that can throw. That's how I feel. That's where I stand. What about you? 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. No matter what I feel about Tim Tebow, I told you I root for him. I have nothing but love and affection for the brother. And he does a great job for ESPN, by the way, with the SEC network. I wish I could say the same for Alex Rodriguez. Now, let me correct myself in this level. Alex Rodriguez did a hell of a job with Fox as a baseball analyst. And once he finishes playing baseball this Friday, at least for the New York Yankees, I would hope that he goes into the broadcast booth because batting 205, looking bigger and slower, bat speed considerably slower than it once was. As far as I'm concerned, Alex Rodriguez is finished. And I agree with Wally Matthews and others who wrote, it's time for Alex Rodriguez to walk away. Don't be a phony. Get away from the New York Yankees playing, still owe $27 million. Then turn around and try to go play for Boston or somebody else just so you can smack 4 more home runs and reach the 700 mark. Don't do that. Just go away. as a player. Because you're no longer that dude. But all of this noise about Alex Rodriguez entering Monument Park, being honored along the lights of Mickey Mantle and Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio. And the list goes on and on. The Reggie Jacksons of the world, soon to be Derek Jeters, the Mariano Rivera's of the world, the Andy Pettitts of the world, and others. It just nauseates me. I am fully aware of the fact that Andy Pettitte cheated by using PEDs. He swears it was once. We have no proof to contradict that, although we suspect that may not be the case. But again, we have no proof. Here's the deal with Alex Rodriguez. Not only do we have proof that he cheated once, you got it twice because he admitted it, basically. And then on top of it all, the man tried to sue Major League Baseball, tried to sue Major League Baseball's Players Association, tried to sue the Yankees, tried to sue the team doctors, everybody. I mean, this dude didn't know when he was lying. Knowing he was lying. And that man deserves to be honored in Monument Park? Are you kidding me? No way. No way. I'm here to tell you right now, I will be in support of Alex Rodriguez entering the Hall of Fame quicker than I'd be interested in him entering Monument Park. Because Monument Park is to deify great Yankees of our generation and prior. It's to deify and honor them in their contributions to the organization and how they represent it with pride and gratitude towards the greatness of Yankees lore. When has Alex Rodriguez done that? I don't recall that. I've never seen that before in my life. Yeah, he showed up in 2009 and facilitated them winning the World Series championship. Wasn't that the same year he admitted to Peter Gammons that he cheated? He had been cheated for previous years. Then he comes back in 2013 getting busted again with the whole biogenesis scandal and suspended for 211 games, which ended up being reduced to basically the entire 2014 season. What was it he said then? Try to sue everybody. Come on now. I can't sit up there and honor that. I can't sit up there and applaud that. I can't sit up there and flow with that. No way should Alex Rodriguez be honored in Monument Park. No way in hell. And Mad Dog Russo, wherever he is, he better not disagree with me on this one. He better not disagree. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. That's the number to call into my radio show every weekday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. You know, the Cowboys found a way to make news today. Once again, Jerry Jones hoodwinked me and everybody else because he made the Cowboys relevant. Isn't he great at that? Talked about how positive he is about his backup quarterbacks. Dak Prescott, some dude named Shower, who will probably end up in the showers most of the time because he's a member of the Dallas Cowboys, and the Dallas Cowboys have that way of contaminating people they touch. You know, it really makes me sick to my stomach how the Dallas Cowboys find ways to make news. I feel like a damn fool talking about them, but I can't help it. I just wanted to say this. I want to make sure I reiterated this point. I'm not going to belabor it. The Dallas Cowboys have the worst fan base in American history. You're the most delusional human beings I've ever seen on the planet Earth. I can't stand y'all. It's not the Cowboys as a team that I hate. It's not even Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones is a brilliant, brilliant owner. It's you Cowboy fans. Can't stand y'all. Y'all make me sick. Y'all go 1-15. You wake up the next morning. We gonna be all right, Stephen A. We gonna win the title. Watch. And you already got your owner talking about the backup quarterback, which means he doesn't have as much faith in Tony Romo as one would like. What happened to that offensive line protecting Tony Romo? What happened to Des Bryant being back healthy? I mean, I know you don't have Julius Randle there any longer. I mean, I understand that. I mean, no, there's no department stores nearby. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist that. A pair of drawers and a cologne, and a bottle of cologne. That's what he was stealing. I still can't get over that a couple of years later. I still can't get over that. But that's beside the point. Let me say this. Cowboys fan base. Delusional. That's why I don't like the Cowboys, because of y'all. I just want to say that. Outside of that, this Olympian, Lily King, I applaud her after winning. What was it? Her 100-meter breaststroke race? I think that's what it was. I applaud her for that. Special. But when she called out her Russian competitor the way that she did, ladies and gentlemen, here was my issue with that. I'm a patriot. I'm an American. And I'm always root for America. And she wasn't wrong with what she said. But there comes a moment in time where you have to take into account the greatness of America and why we're the greatest country in the world and why other nations may not quite measure up. You see, Lily being from Indiana, not using PEDs, obviously, and winning her competition fair and square. While she should be applauded and what have you. She called out the Russian. I think it's Yulia Efimova. I think that's her name. I got it right next to me. I'll look it up in a minute. It's one thing to call them out, but it's another thing not to take into consideration what she's had to endure. Whether you want to call Russia an authoritarian or a totalitarian nation, the fact of the matter is those Olympians, those Olympic athletes that they have, don't have the freedoms that American athletes have. Who's to say that she wasn't forced by Russia to do the things that she did in terms of using PEDs that disqualified her in the past, where she also failed a couple of tests this year? Who's to say Lily's Russian competitor wasn't forced by Russia, nor were the others forced by Russia? Who's to say they weren't forced to do so? America may not do that. But who knows what other nations put their athletes through? And the freedoms that we enjoy, just like we preach about how we should never take it for granted, we should also remind ourselves of that reality when faced against athletes from opposing nations who don't share our democratic points of views. Just a thought. Something to think about. You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Your phone calls and more. Plus, I'll get into Joey Bosa and the NFL San Diego Chargers in just a minute. You're listening to Stephen A. on Mad Dog.
Every 4 years, memories.
Past hour number one, back in the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Number to call up as always is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. To the phones we go. Let's go to Clay in Chicago. You're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. Clay, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Stephen A?
Thank you for calling. What's going on?
Man, first off, I just want to say thanks to you for always handling tough issues in such a great way, especially in dealing with racial issues. I'm a white guy in Chicago, and I learn a lot from listening to you talk about those issues.
Thank you.
So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is this. Talking about Tim Tebow earlier today, I know that when Russell Wilson first came into the league, he was looking at trying out for the Rangers, looking at going into baseball, and I just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on comparing that situation to what Tim Tebow is attempting to do now.
Well, the reason why I don't compare the situation is because Russell Wilson got out of college thinking about that. Whereas in the case of Tim Tebow, you've been removed from Florida for how many years? I mean, come on. I mean, Tim Tebow has been removed for about 7, 8 years or so, or 6 or 7 years or so. So when I look at it from that perspective, I find myself asking the question, how you not going to play baseball since high school, but then think that you got a shot to make a Major League Baseball team? We can slice it any way we want to. You know what it really, really comes down to, Clay? Tim Tebow is so loved and adored by some folks, right? That he'll always get the opportunity. And I think what people miss is that that's where the resentment comes in. It's the fact, like Tim Tebow can end up, he's 28 years old. He's gonna turn 29 August 14th in just a few days. Okay. He left, Florida. I think it was like 2009, 2010. So you're talking about 6 years plus an additional 3 to 4 years that he spent in college. Well, what that means, sir, is that he's been removed from baseball for almost 10 years. And then you're going to go and get a look, and the media is going to clamor to cover you. And guys that are better, that have been more fixated on the sport, that are more qualified, are going to get less of an opportunity because they're not as adored as you. That's where the resentment comes in. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right. I appreciate.
Do you think him getting this attention? Do you think that is taking away opportunities from other athletes?
Well, let me ask you this question. I'll return that with a question if you don't mind, Clay.
Absolutely.
The media swarm that's going to show up to see Tim Tebow work out. You think that's happening for the common athlete out there?
No, of course not.
But that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. It's the attention. It's the attention. Because most athletes are craving the attention.
You're more focused on the media attention that he's getting,
yes,
as opposed to whether or not. But my question is, do you think that media hype surrounding him is helping him in that, or do you think it's actually hindering him? Because I think there's a lot of people
I think it remains to be seen
in baseball like you who that would hinder. I mean,
it might hinder
the NFL.
It might hinder him
because of that.
Stop, Clay. It might hinder him. Yeah. But here's the problem. He invited it by announcing and informing us of it. Sure. You see what I'm saying? So if he hadn't done that, then he could claim a victim's role. But the fact that he's inviting the media coverage, he can't be the victim because it's what he asked for.
Right, absolutely. I'm not saying we're not trying to victimize Tim Tebow in this situation. What I'm wondering is, with all this media attention, when you're saying this is something that other athletes aren't getting, that may need an opportunity for baseball, could this actually hype around Tim Tebow actually hinder his ability and maybe elevate?
Sir, I've answered that question 3 times, Clay. I said yes.
Okay.
I said yes.
Yeah.
It could, but he can't blame anybody for that because he's inviting the attention. And that's the difference. We're going to give him attention that other athletes, based on their abilities, potential, and performance, may deserve more than him. But because he's Tim Tebow, he's going to get it, which is part of the resentment. I got to run. I appreciate the call. Jeremy in Miami, you're live at Stephen A. What's up, Jeremy?
What's going on, Stephen A?
How are you?
Great fan of yours. Good. Miami raised, born and raised, went to UC of Florida. I want to talk a little Tim Tebow with you. I heard you this morning on First Take saying that Tim Tebow, with his fame, got the opportunity in the NFL. And I actually think it's actually the other way around.
Hold on, no. I don't understand what you're saying. I said what?
That his fame got him the opportunity to become an NFL quarterback to begin with. And unfortunately, with his mechanics not the way they should be as a quarterback, that unfortunately he was never giving another shot in the NFL. But I actually think that it's actually his fame that got him wrong and didn't give him the opportunity to go to other teams and prove to be maybe a backup quarterback like Colt McCoy, or even to have a longevity of an NFL career, because any NFL team never wanted to touch him because of his fame.
Well, let me say this to you.
Nobody's bigger than NFL.
No. You're wrong. And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. They didn't want to touch him when his fame didn't match his abilities. But the chances and the opportunities he received is because of his fame. He comes out of college. Let's face reality. Tim Tebow is a gift from the heavens in terms of character for a professional sports team. Do you know of any football player who you can definitively say in NFL history who has had better character, the perception of better character? One person.
No.
Nobody. No. So because of that inspired them to want to give him an opportunity. It's just that once he got it, his skills couldn't measure up to the hype that came along with him. And that was a problem.
Yeah, but in football, like any other sport, the mechanic is not what that matters. The winning record is what matters.
Time out, sir. Again, you're wrong. Because if the winning record was what mattered, how come Tim Tebow hasn't been able to get a job since he left Denver?
Okay, but now the question, I know this might be completely out of the blue, but look at somebody like Joakim Noah, the biggest heart in NBA in the past 10 years. Maybe
Who?
Demond Green. Joakim Noah.
Okay, what about him?
That his mechanics are not there.
Sir, you're comparing apples and oranges. Joakim Noah is a center in the National Basketball Association. There have been plenty of guys before him, with him, since him, who couldn't score, but could rebound, could defend, could block shots with physical opposing bodies. Whereas Tim Tebow is a quarterback in the NFL. It's two different positions.
But I think the base of the heart and the leadership and the character.
It's two different positions. Joakim Noah was damn near league MVP, finished like fourth in one of the ballots because of how much of an impact he had with the Chicago Bulls. Tim Tebow, as a quarterback, you wouldn't even sniff at him being in that direction. Goodbye. Have a good day. Big Ace in Columbus. You're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A., what's going on?
I'm good. Talk to me, man.
All right, here's the problem with this Tebow thing. When I was in high school, my buddy had a kid straight out of Clemson, college baseball player, just graduated. He was here for like a lower A summer league. The kid's here busting his ass, trying to maybe make it to a regular single A team for no money, working hard. This is his dream. Tebow's eventually going to take a spot from lots of kids like that are trying to make baseball a career, and it isn't some whim and some pipe dream. And I have a problem with that. Don't you agree? I mean, he's taking someone's spot because someone's going to sign him because of his name.
Yeah. That's basically what I'm saying, right?
It's selfish. I think it's selfish and ridiculous when he doesn't have a chance.
Whoa. Tim Tebow has every right to pursue the opportunity and pursue his dream and exploit the advantages that may potentially be available to him. He can't be crucified for that. But if it
wasn't for his name, Stephen A., would he have that?
Hold on. It doesn't matter. The opportunity, he's not pursuing the opportunity for somebody else. He's pursuing it for himself. If he has an opportunity for whatever reason to make it, why shouldn't he try? It's up to the NFL to hold, in this case, Major League Baseball or the minor league system to hold him accountable and not give him that opportunity if they don't feel he's deserving. It's up to the media to call it like we see it and to highlight that he's not deserving if indeed he's not deserving. It's up to the media and baseball to point out that those who are more qualified deserve opportunities before him. It ain't his responsibility to deny himself a potential dream of his because somebody won't step up and do what they're supposed to do in that regard. He's under no obligation to do that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Let me touch on something real quick, if you don't mind. I want to tell you a real quick.
Go ahead.
It's a compliment to you and how you're helping educate inner city kids through me. But real quick on something about yesterday, I forgot to mention we were talking about Durant leaving, this and that. And this is just a quick thing. When Jordan had his trouble with the Pistons, of course he didn't jump ship. You know what he did that next summer? He went to the weight room, in his own words, and pumped heavy iron and got stronger and sucked it up, and we know the rest of the story. So I forgot to mention that yesterday, but that's what he did. He went and worked harder, didn't jump ship. And I know that's a completely different topic, but that's why I respect him so much,
Jordan's the GOAT, man. Jordan didn't run from any challenge. He embraced it all. That's what you love about him most. That's what you should love about him most. Appreciate the call, Big Ace. Thank you so much. Keep teaching those kids to the best of your ability, man. They are the future. No doubt about it. 888-MAD-DOG-6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. More on the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio. More about Joey Bosa as well in a minute. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Mad Dog Sports Radio. Sports.
Our number one back here in the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. I'll get into Joey Bosa to start off hour number 2, but for now I wanted to get to these calls about Tebow, about the Cowboys. Somebody's got a call on the line with me about LeBron. I'll talk to them about that as well. Let's go back to the phones at 888-MAD-DOG-6. Let's go to Rick in Louisiana. You're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. What's up, Rick? How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for calling. What's up?
I wanted to call in so you wouldn't have a bad taste in your mouth about all Cowboy fans.
Rick, I hope you and the Cowboy fans know it's all love. I'm from New York. It's almost a rite of passage to hate on the Cowboys. It's nothing serious. I'm just having fun with the Cowboy fans. I really, really am. It's nothing more than that, but go ahead.
Well, I'd love to applaud you, though, for holding Jerry Jones accountable. Mm-hmm. I agree with 100% of everything you say about him and about the Cowboys. I'm 35 years old, and the Cowboys have not been to the Super Bowl since I was a freshman in high school.
That's right.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's just terrible.
Considering the money they spend, considering the attention whores that they are, and I don't say that derogatorily because, I'm in a business where we're attention whores. we understand. We get it. I'm not knocking Jerry Jones for it at all. All I'm saying is produce. You want to bring that attention to yourself, handle your business.
That's exactly right.
That's all I'm saying.
What I would like to see him do, which you and me both know will not probably happen, but it's something as a fact what Denver did with John Elway. Bring in Troy Aikman maybe. Let him maybe evaluate talent. Try to get the team back on track somehow. Because now you're irrelevant.
I got you.
Like you said, you've been irrelevant for 20 years.
There you go. Hey, Rick, man, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much, buddy. Let's go to Jordan in South Carolina. You're live with Stephen A. and Mad Dog. Jordan, good afternoon.
How you doing, man? It's been a minute since I talked to you, man, so I'm glad to see you still on the radio doing what you're doing.
Man, I just needed a vacation, bro. I ain't going nowhere. I love my show.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah. Hey, I want to talk the rumor wheel with you, man. I know it's football season, but I want to talk rumor wheel. What is the likelihood of LeBron, Melo, Wade, and Chris Paul coming to New York and winning New York?
Slim to none. Slim to none.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, man, because you know they were going to do that in Miami until Pat Riley messed that up.
Well, you got to remember, you already gave Courtney Lee $50 million. You gave Joakim Noah $72 million. You got a contract to Derrick Rose, even though he's in the last year of his contract. You still owe Melo about $80 to $90 million. So who knows what's going to happen? But I would say slim to none.
Man, you hurt my feelings, man. I want New York to get a championship, man. But I appreciate the call.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Let's go to Tony in North Carolina. You're live with Stephen A. and Mad Dog. Tony, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Steve. Good to hear from you today, man.
Thank you, my brother. What's up?
Hey, my question is this, man. A couple of weeks ago, man, we saw the report where Ray Rice was saying that he would be willing to play for the NFL and donate his first year's salary back to charity. Mm-hmm. Have you heard anything about any team possibly even considering?
Not a peep. Not a peep.
Wow.
Not a peep. And I'll tell you something right now. Listen, you can't say that's about the dogfighting scandal because Ray Rice has been nothing short of sincerely contrite or extremely contrite since everything has happened. He's done the interviews. He said the right things. He's been the antithesis of Greg Hardy. All of that stuff has happened. If Ray Rice ain't getting another chance, it's because he's 32 going on 33 years of age, and people don't believe in him. Not believe in his character. They don't believe in his abilities. That's what's going on here.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, because I saw the news, of course, today about the Tim Tebow.
You got to remember, he was averaging he was averaging 3.1 yards a carry when it went down. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but Yeah. I think that Baltimore line would have had a little bit to do with that. But now that you mentioned the age, that does remind me that, yeah, he's a little long in the tooth when it comes to, the NFL and the running back position,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was just wondering if you knew anything about that, man. Hey, I'll be calling back tomorrow with another question.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Let's go to Moose in New York. You're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. What's up, Moose? How are you?
Hey, Stephen A. Good afternoon. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player that ever played, or at least that I ever saw played.
Yep.
But he couldn't touch anything, even in Double-A. Binghamton.
That's true.
Or, sorry, Birmingham. Sorry.
That's true, Birmingham.
He couldn't touch Birmingham. He couldn't touch, wherever Charlotte, that was the AAA. He was the greatest basketball player ever lived. It didn't translate to baseball. Now you have a 29-year-old former quarterback who, in terms of quarterbacks, he wasn't Dan Marino. He wasn't Troy Aikman. He wasn't Peyton Manning. He wasn't even Dave Craig or Drew Bledsoe or Vinny Testaverde. He's not even close to the greatest. And by the way, since Jordan tried to play baseball, I don't know if you noticed, maybe Tim Tebow hasn't noticed, they've gotten better pitching. Noah Syndergaard's out there throwing high 90s. Aroldis Chapman's popping 105. What makes you think, or what makes Tim Tebow think, I got nothing against him either, but what makes you think that you can just go out there and have fun with a 99-mile-per-hour fastball coming at you constantly? Good luck with that.
Got you. Okay. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Bo in California. You're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. What's up? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Stephen A., man? Hey, listen, two things. First of all, with this Tim Tebow situation, my take is this. Here's a guy who maybe has listened and has really, taken to the fact that he can't play quarterback in the NFL. And maybe that's the only position that he wanted to play in the NFL. It's sort of like a guy who's in business, so he leaves business because he's failing in this business, and in his career in business, so he decides to pursue a career in healthcare. Maybe this guy has realized, maybe he's heard you over the years say he can't throw. He can't play quarterback in the NFL. And with all the teams that have, scratched him off of the list, maybe he's come to terms with the fact that maybe this isn't a dream that is going to come true. Maybe this isn't a career that is for him. So here's a guy who says, you know what? Let me take my athleticism. Let me take all of this that I have and take it into another sport. Not so that I'm changing careers, because I'm still in sports. I'm just going to try a different.
Hey, Bo. You want me to go this route with you? You know who Adam Jones is, right?
Yes, sir.
Adam Jones for the Baltimore Orioles, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear about the tweet he just sent out?
No, I didn't.
Allow me to read y'all this tweet from Adam Jones of the Baltimore Orioles. Quote, after this Major League Baseball season, I'm going to try out for the NFL this offseason. I haven't played since high school, but I've played in a few turkey bowls since. That's a good, I respect the hell out of Adam Jones, and I respect him even more for saying that. He's absolutely right. You see where I'm going with this? I'm sorry to get first take on y'all on my radio show, but it's just so disrespectful. I mean, for Tim Tebow to just think, I'm going to try out for the Major League Baseball team. I ain't played since high school, but I'm just going to try out for Major League Baseball right now. It is a bit ridiculous. It really is.
I get it. Especially when you put in work in a certain field, and then here's a guy who comes along and says, you know what, I can do this as well. And it's like, well, there's a process to all of this. This ain't football. Just like transforming from baseball to basketball, basketball to football, football to hockey, or whatever your sport may be. There's time that these guys have put in, but who's to say that? I mean, Tebow is a nice athlete, so who's to say that he can't? I'm not apologizing for it. I'm just saying from a different perspective. Maybe he just decided, maybe I need a career change. Maybe maybe he's not enjoying being an analyst as much, being around football, and maybe he's just realized, I just want to try something different in my life and just see where he goes. Who knows? Maybe he could be a good DH or third base. baseman or something. It's not like the guy is not an athlete. That's all I'm saying.
I got it. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Let's go to Dan in Cleveland. You're live with Stephen A. Mad Dog. What's up, man?
Hey, Stephen A. Smith. First of all, shout out to the 216. We're still enjoying last year's win in the finals. I got a quick comment about Kevin Durant, and then I want to tell you why I think Tim Tebow is doing the right thing. First of all, Kevin Durant, in my eyes, is in a lose situation. Let's say they win 73 games, go to the finals, and lose to Cleveland. He's going to be the scapegoat. Nothing changed. He didn't bring them up. Let's say they don't win 73 games. They're going to blame him. So if they win the finals, well, it was a team that won the finals without him. So I don't understand that move for his personal career. To me, there's no win unless Steph Curry goes down with a broken ankle and then he steps up, scores 30 points a game, and overcomes some adversity. I don't see that as a win for Kevin Durant. And as far as Tim Tebow, I love hearing people that have never overcome any adversity in their life rip on a guy who's trying to maximize his talent. Here's why I think he has a possibility. Baseball is a game where you fail 7 out of 10 times. If you're great, you fail 7 out of 10 times. And he's 29 years old. He's overcome a lot of adversity and pressure. I think mentally he's probably has the right mindset for baseball. Now, does his physical talent, make him a major league player? I don't know, but I won't knock a guy for maximizing his talent, especially when you got tens of millions of people who have never overcome any challenges in their life. So I think it's a good message that, hey, it took me 39 years to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I'm living my dream, and I think, good for Tim Tebow to try and go make it happen.
Let me say this to you, and let me ask you this question real quick, Dan. What do you do for a living?
Sure. I do motivational speaking and teach seminars and teach people life skills.
I appreciate that. Let me ask you this real quick question because we got to get ready to go. How do you feel about the fact that these opportunities are coming his way largely in part because of his popularity as opposed to his ability?
I agree with that it is, but
I'm not talking, hold on, Dan. I'm not talking about knocking him. In no way am I talking about knocking him. Because if you have the opportunity for whatever reason, if that's a dream of yours, you should pursue it. And we should encourage it. I'm talking about as it pertains to Major League Baseball, minor league baseball, and the media's coverage of it.
Well, here's what I think. I think you and I and probably, anybody could have thrown the ball as well as Peyton Manning last year. But because of his presence, I believe they won the Super Bowl. And I think Tim Tebow has that.
Hold on, stop right there. Stop right there. You know that's blasphemous what you... Hold on, stop. You know that's blasphemous what you just did, right, Dan? You don't know that, right? You know that, right, Dan?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. Because let me tell you something. Peyton Manning put forth 17 years in the NFL before last year came about. He was 3 years removed from throwing 2 years removed from throwing 55 touchdown passes and winning league MVP. Come on, Dan. Tim Tebow never did that.
Don't get me wrong. Peyton did not win the Super Bowl because he's a quarterback. He won the Super Bowl because he's a man of character.
Dan, stop. Who you talking to? Who you talking to? You know good and well I'm not trying to imply differently. I know that Peyton Manning was a shell of himself last year. What I'm saying is that he had a history of greatness. He's widely recognized as the greatest regular season quarterback in the history of football. What did Tim Tebow do?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, Tim Tebow.
So again, we're talking about opportunities, Dan. We're talking about opportunities. In other words, what has Tim Tebow done to deserve the opportunity? Forget about what he may or may not do with it. What has he done to earn the opportunity?
You're right there. He's going to have an advantage. And, I've read every success book in the world. You have to take 100% responsibility, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. And I agree. He's getting an advantage.
But that's all I'm saying, Dan. Stay with me there. Stop with the buts. We know Tim Tebow's not doing anything wrong. Nobody's saying that. I'm just saying stop with the buts. Stop right there, because what I'm asking you to do, Dan, is to think about those aspiring athletes out there who pound the pavement and put in that work and are starving for the opportunity to get recognized. It's almost like that dude. Dan, you ever walk into the streets and see guys peddling CDs or books or whatever it is that they do, just starving for a speck of recognition for their work? And the hardest part is getting the recognition, because nobody knows who they are. In Tim Tebow's case, we do know who he is. He has come up short, and we still give him one opportunity after another because we like him so much. You don't get that?
Yeah. No, I get that, and I think that's his lot in life. But he's had to also deal with all the negative that comes with that.
Well, no, the negative is invited by him, Dan. The negative is invited by him because he invites the publicity.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it.
Okay. So long as you know.
I understand. And I'm okay with it, because I still think that in our day and age of people doping and tweeting and taking pics of things, and we're celebrating those guys, I want a good guy in there. I'm sorry to see Peyton Manning leave. He was the one jersey I would, non-Cleveland Browns jersey, I would let my kids wear.
All right, I got to go, Dan. I got to go because I got a hard break. I got to get on out of here. I'll let you talk enough. You know, you're still reiterating your same old point, trying to defend Tebow and soften the blow. The fact of the matter is Tim Tebow brings some of the scrutiny on himself, but he does get favorable treatment by professional sports leagues and, dare we say, the media to some degree. It's undeniable. Hour number 2 up next. I'm going to get into Joey Bosa and continue with this Tebow talk.
When champions are crowned in
Stephen A. Smith Show here with you until the top of the 3 o'clock hour, when I pass it off to the namesake for the channel, Christopher Mad Dog Russo, on his afternoon drive show right here on Sirius XM. Mad Dog Sports Radio, 888 Mad Dog 6 is it. There's always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Here with another note from a Candlewood Suites hotel guest. Dana from room 406 wrote, "Hey guys, thanks for lending me the crock pot. I used it to make my favorite chili." End quote. You're welcome, Dana. Make sure you bring some down next time, all right? Even with a full kitchen, you're not expected to pack a blender, toaster oven, or, well, a crock pot. That's why Candlewood Suites has everything from small kitchen appliances to board games for you to borrow anytime. If you're ready for all the basics you'd expect, plus a genuine staff always willing to help, book your next stay with Candlewood Suites. Find out more at candlewoodssuites.com. Candlewood Suites. True, genuine people. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. I'll get back to the phones in a second. Wanted to talk about Joey Bosa for a quick minute. Joey Bosa, number 3 overall pick, last spring's NFL draft, still holding out with the San Diego Chargers. At issue are 2 things. Joey Bosa either wants offset language in his contract completely eliminated. That basically means if you're under a 5-year rookie contract and it's year 4 and then you end up, being cut by the San Diego Chargers, but you go to another team, you want to be able to keep all your money. San Diego's a team that says, okay, if we let you go and you go somewhere else, we don't want to have to pay you the money that we originally sworn to give you upon your signing. I believe that's the correct way to explain it. Joey Bosa either wants that language eliminated from his contract, or he wants all his cash payout in 1 full year via his signing bonus. As a number 3 overall pick, he's making the argument that if he were to accept or to have accepted the deal even last week, he would have been getting paid less than the 4 rookies selected after him. You got to remember that Ezekiel Elliott for the Dallas Cowboys is being paid $10.45 million. The Jaguars will pay number 5 pick Jalen Ramsey $12.6 million. The 6th and 7th pick, Ravens offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley, and 49ers defensive end DeForest Buckner, respectively, are being paid $13.55 and $11.88 million. Whereas Joey Bosa would have been getting paid less than all of them. So because he would have been getting paid less than all of them, he's saying, hell no. I don't deserve to be paid less than all of them if I was picked higher than them. San Diego has been willing to negotiate that end, but they're not willing to give him all his cash. If you give Joey Bosa all his cash, he'd be scheduled to make approximately $16 to $17 million. And he wants it all. Here's my thing. San Diego's philosophy is archaic and cheap. The bottom line is that you picked him number 3 overall. If he's willing to make, you should be willing to make a concession somewhere. Now, if you're Joey Bosa, you got to get the hell in camp. You got to perform. And you can't alienate your team over $1 million or $2 million. That means that if you are the San Diego Chargers, you should come up to about 14 to 15 million and give this man that money up front. Because here's where the San Diego Chargers are wrong. NFL teams talk to players and their representatives before the draft. You negotiate deals before the draft, most times. The fact of the matter is, you probably knew what Joey Bosa's position was before you drafted him, and you drafted him anyway. Not to mention the fact that this is a hard and fast rule you have. Everyone else doesn't have that. Los Angeles Rams didn't have that. The Jacksonville Jaguars don't have that. So who the hell are you to impose your will upon him, irregardless of what's taking place around the league? I don't think Joey Bosa's wrong there. But you don't skip out on the season for $1 million or $2 million. If the San Diego Chargers say, okay, we're going to give you $15 million, not all $17 million, you need to get the hell over that and get in camp. But if they're going to remain hard and fast to this situation and don't budge 1 inch on the offset language or the signing bonus dollars, hell with them, bump them. Joey Bosa's right. Because the San Diego Chargers should have put forth their due diligence. And considering the fact that you haven't made the playoffs in recent memory, and you're wasting away Phillip Rivers' best years, you need to do something. And that is that. Remember, Philadelphia Eagles drafted Carson Wentz number 2 overall. He's getting 94.3% of his $17.69 million signing bonus this calendar year. Only $1 million is being deferred into 2017. If you're Bosa, you can point to that. Plus, you can also point to how every 2nd, 3rd, and 4th overall pick from 2012 to 2015, that's 12 out of 12 picks. Over 3 years, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th overall pick was served they were either given latitude on the offset language, or they were given more cash up front. So San Diego has no precedent here to help their position. That is the reality. Joey Bosa deserves more of his money. He may not deserve every penny of it, but he deserves most of it. Period. That is the way it goes. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Back to the phones we go. Let's go to Reverend Wheeler from Maryland, right here with Stephen A. on Mad Dog Sports Radio. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A. Good to talk to you again. I called you last week.
Thank you.
And I forgot to tell you, too, that I am a Steeler fan. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh.
All right. I ain't mad at that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yes. But I wanted to get your perspective on this as far as Tim Tebow. And it just seems to me, and I haven't followed him as close, but do you think that because he has not been afraid to be vocal about his relationship with God, that he has been blackballed by professional?
No. I'll tell you, that's a great question, especially coming from you, Reverend Wheeler. I will explain what the answer is right now.
Okay.
Tim Tebow can't throw. He completed 46.5% of his passes. But you are right. He is divided. He has divided camps. Those who love him religiously because of his unavowed religious belief and his unapologetic approach to it. And there are those who dislike him because of it in the secular society that we live in, regardless of what they say. Where the noise elevates exponentially is over the fact that because folks know that he's somewhat victimized by the reality of his relationship with God, it buffers their support for him. And as a result, you have those who believe that very support is what provokes franchises to give him a look and to give him consideration. He's a wonderfully nice guy, Reverend Wheeler. He's an incredibly good man, good young man, nice guy, God-fearing, just a core decency about him that you just don't teach. It's practically God-given. And he's good for any locker room. But the problem with that is his skills don't warrant the consideration he receives, which builds the resentment. And as a result, teams, to answer your question directly, are not inclined to bring him in because their belief is if we do that, we're under pressure to keep him, even though he's not necessarily better than other guys because of pressure brought to bear by the public at large who wants him. See, the exceptions were made in Denver when there was nobody else, and in New England where you had Tom Brady. So you could bring him in and cut him and nobody was going to say anything because it's Bill Belichick.
Right.
But if you bring him somewhere else, let's say, for example, if he was back in Denver now and Mark Sanchez was there, there'd be some pressure on John Elway's part to keep him. And John Elway don't want that pressure. You see where I'm going?
Yeah,
that's the challenge.
Because what I'm looking at is, as far as his moral character that he presents as a young man, as you said, but then also from an athletic perspective, him switching from football to baseball, he seems to me, from my perspective, and I'm no professional, but he seems to be, very athletic, and it's almost like sometimes when you hear him being cut by, different teams, it's like, the focus is on one specific thing that he's doing wrong. And I just can't.
Hold on. Do you mean that one specific thing he's doing wrong, like his inability to throw?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you are a quarter, sir. Reverend, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
You speak before your congregation, do you not?
Absolutely.
Do you find yourself to be a very good orator?
I do.
Okay. What if you couldn't?
Yeah.
You see my point? Yeah. In other words, your job, as much as your relationship with the Lord has everything to do with your ability, right? To do what you do. The fact is, your ability to articulate and eloquate your thoughts is just as paramount. Because if nobody is interested in hearing you, how would you resonate? So to sit up there and say, there's just one thing that Tim Tebow can't do. Sir, that's a very, very significant thing. If that one thing that you cannot do is throw the football, then you're trying to play quarterback in the NFL.
Let me get thinking one more question. Do you think that he will see some success or acceptance for Major League Baseball? Because I like what you said about, I do agree with you as far as him giving opportunities above, other folks who aren't high on the radar. But now, he's in this mix about baseball, trying to play Major League Baseball. What do you think is going to happen with that?
I don't know because I haven't seen him play, but I don't think he's going to make it because there are folks that have been playing baseball all their lives that ain't good enough to make the majors. This man hasn't played since high school. Just like I read the tweet from Adam Jones of the Baltimore Orioles. When he sat up there and he said, quote, after this Major League Baseball season, I'm going to try out for the NFL this offseason. I haven't played since high school, but I've played in a few turkey bowls since.
Yeah.
He was mocking them because as a baseball player, it's disrespectful to you that some dude thinks that he could walk off the field and just decide that he's going to play baseball for the first time since high school and he's going to make the major leagues.
Yeah.
I got to run, Reverend.
All right. Hey, Stephen A., I forgot to tell you, I prayed for you past Sunday at my church. I'm going to pray for you again, too. You're doing a great job, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the help. I appreciate it. And you know, Reverend Wheeler, are you familiar with First Baptist in Glen Arden?
I am.
Yes.
I am.
Yeah. My cousin goes to that church. I know the pastor there. I know, Pastor Skip Little as well. He was the minister there for a long time, doing some pastoral work against. He's a personal friend of mine.
Yeah, I live in Maryland, and my church is in Southeast DC, and we're trying to, make a difference in that community, and even actually trying to do it through sports. So, keep us in your thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, man. Thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless. Let's go to Terrence in Florida. You're live with Stephen A. Madden. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A. I want to say I'm a first-time caller.
Thank you.
I listen to your show all the time, but I have two questions. What happened to First Take on Sirius Radio? Because I am a truck driver.
It's back on. It's back on. It came back on yesterday. It's on channel 81, 10 a.m. to 12 noon.
Oh, okay. And my second question is about LeBron.
Yep.
With the whole Michael Jordan comparison. I think there's only one way that he can even equal Jordan or probably surpass him, and that's probably winning 6 to 7 rings. And I'm only saying that because we have this narrative about Jordan being undefeated and LeBron losing 4. Well, the greatest boxer in the world of all time is Muhammad Ali. But he lost 5 fights, and Rocky Marciano's 49-0. Joe Calzaghe, 46-0. You can go down the list of guys that are undefeated. When will we stop looking at the point of somebody being undefeated and seeing what he did in his overall career? When will we take what he's done, what he's accomplished, versus a guy that just fought at a certain time or played a certain time where rules were different?
Well, who are you talking about specifically? And I can answer the question directly.
Well, LeBron James. I mean, LeBron's been in the 6 straight finals.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan's had the 3-peat twice. If he wins 3 more chips, that means he's been there 9 straight times.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And it's the same guy coming out the East. It's like, you can't tell me that because it's Melo. It doesn't matter. It's the same guy.
First of all, I can tell you whatever I want. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show. I can do that. That's number one. Secondly, and more importantly, the way that I feel about it, it's not about the 6 straight appearances to the NBA Finals. You teamed with D Wade and Chris Bosh for 4 of them. You were in Cleveland for another 2 when the conference, for the most part, has been considerably weak. Number 3, the performance against Dallas in the finals, the loss to San Antonio. You can't ignore that, even though I don't hold the first loss against San Antonio against them, and I don't hold the loss to the Golden State against them. Then you also have to understand that what he matured into and what LeBron has evolved into, Jordan was always that. He just didn't have any help. Those are the things that you take into consideration. LeBron is one of the greatest players in NBA history. He's the greatest small forward in the history of basketball. Over the course of 82 games, he's the guy that I would want. In the playoffs, over the course of 40 minutes, he's the guy that I would want. But when crunch time arrives and it's money time, there are a plethora of individuals whose hands I would want the ball in other than LeBron James. And that's just reality. Not maybe necessarily right now, because I think he's evolved and I think he's special. But at the same time, would I want it in his hands ahead of Kobe? No. Would I want it in his hands ahead of MJ? No. Would I want it in his hands instead of Steph Curry, who was injured these finals? He wasn't 100% in terms of his ability to shoot the basketball. Or Kevin Durant, who can shoot the basketball. Yes, I would.
Yeah, I do get that point. I do understand. But I'm just trying to figure out, because LeBron's done so much.
Well, you shouldn't have to figure it out now. You shouldn't have to figure it out now, because I just explained it to you.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out, what if he was on a different team when he got drafted? Like, he never had help. Like, he was always a guy that was so...
But wait a minute. Stop. See, people like you annoy me now, because you're changing the narrative, trying to be slick, and I don't like that. And I don't respect that. That's not what I said. What you have to understand is that the issue at hand, basically what you're asking is, why can't he be Jordan or greater than Jordan? Because he's already recognized as one of the greatest ever. He's already recognized as the greatest small forward ever. He's already recognized as all of those things. So considering that reality, the issue at hand is whether or not he should be better than Jordan. Questions asked and answered.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Jordan is the greatest of all time.
Well, then that's it.
But as far as
then what's there to talk about? Because there's only one other person. Who else is 6-0 with 6 NBA Finals MVPs? Who else are you talking about? You know? All right, then. So if you concede that, so hold on, wait a minute. You just conceded he's not better than Jordan. So what's the conversation about? If he's not better than Jordan, that's that, because there's nobody else that has been Jordan.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. We're looking at the stats. I'm saying, like, what if he wins 3 or 4 straight finals? He has 6 or 7 rings. He's just as good. Did
LeBron have to go through Detroit? Did LeBron have to go through Boston? Did LeBron have to go through the 76ers? Did LeBron have to go through those teams?
No, but he played a young Tim Duncan, and he did play against a nice Celtics team.
That's why he lost. Goodbye. I got to get the phone calls. You can tell the guys that call up to debate, I don't have time. You're not changing my mind on this. You're wrong. I'm right. That's the end of the story. Not to sound like Andrew Wilkow for Conservative Talk Radio, who I'm a fan of because I think he does a great radio show. But the bottom line is, it's the truth. You ain't getting better than Michael Jordan. 6 for 6 NBA Finals MVPs. When you got 4 losses on your resume in the NBA Finals, stop. Enough. Matthew in Baltimore, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A. How you doing today,
I'm
man?
good. Talk to me.
Hey, real quick about Tebow. You were saying, how other, players are going to resent him for taking a spot on a roster possibly, and, he's only getting that because of his name. I just got a quick comparison, because I don't think you should feel guilty about it at all. You got to use what God gave you. I mean, how many players out there are as athletic as he is? But do you ever feel guilty about taking that spot on General Hospital?
Did I ever feel guilty about what?
Having your role on General Hospital. I mean, hold
on. Why would I feel guilty?
How many other actors were trying for that spot? I just got to ask.
No, I don't understand your question. If you listen to my question, maybe you'll know what I'm trying to say.
All right.
I'm asking. I don't understand your question about, do I ever feel bad about General Hospital? I'm lost. What are you talking about?
Do you feel guilty? Do you feel at all like you took the spot of another actor because just your name recognition?
No, because it was created for me. There's not 50. Okay. There's not 53 acting spots, and I'm taking one of them. They created a new role for me. It's not limited. You could have 20 actors on General Hospital or 40. And by the way, also, with all due respect, to use the sports parlance, when I go on General Hospital, I don't complete 46.5% of my passes. When I show up on TV, at the very least, I'm going to be average. You can bet the house on that. Ain't going to be nothing below. Now, I don't do stuff that's below average in my name. You know what I do when that happens, Matthew? I don't do it because I'm not good at it. You know why I go back on General Hospital, Matthew? Do you know why?
It worked out. You did a great job.
No, stop right there. But do you know why I go back on?
Why is that?
Because they asked me to.
Yeah.
I don't pursue it. I don't pursue it. They ask me to. When I show up on a set with Maurice Bernard, a.k.a. Sonny Corinthos, who plays the Sonny Corinthos character in General Hospital, you know what I always ask him? Whatever you need, bro. That's all I say. I don't ask for anything. If they want me back, they'll call me. If they don't, they won't. And they're continuously calling me back, and they want me to come back again. Not only did I film a scene there a couple of weeks ago, they want me to come back to film more scenes. And I'm honored to do it. Because I've been watching it for 40 years.
Well, let's hope that goes the same for Tebow. I mean,
it doesn't. But it doesn't. It doesn't.
Well, for baseball.
It doesn't.
You never know.
It doesn't.
Hold
on. So you don't understand English now? Is that what you pretend to, Matthew? You don't understand English? You can't comprehend? Did I not specifically say there isn't a roster spot of 53 men or 24 players or anything like that? They created the role for me. I was an addition. They didn't subtract someone to bring me on board. So your question is me. Have a nice day. Don't these people realize they're not as good as me? You can't call up here trying to catch me. Look, y'all, I don't mean to brag, but I'm kind of special. I mean, this is what I do. I dot my I's, I cross my T's, and know what the hell I'm talking about. And I keep telling people this all the time. I have never lost a debate in my life. Do you know why? Because either I'm right or I don't hesitate to admit that I'm wrong, which eradicates the debate. Plain and simple. I'm not going to sit there and argue with you if I know I'm wrong. If I think I'm wrong, I'm going to say, you got a good point, I'm wrong. But Matthew from Baltimore, you need to get your skills, bro. Gonna call up here trying to catch me or something. Oh, did you feel you were taking a job from somebody at General Hospital? No, it was added. There was no brick character until I arrived. I didn't take somebody's job. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call. It's 888-623-3646. More of the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio in a minute. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, watching the TV. Trump rally supporters in North Carolina saw another ad talking about how the liberals have spent 12 times as much on advertising dollars as the GOP, whatever that means. You just never know. All I know is that I can't wait for the debates. Trump versus Hillary. Must-see TV, no doubt. I just can't wait to see it. He better watch his mouth, I tell you that much. He's already lost a whole bunch of votes because of that, but that's just me. Be nice, discuss the issues. Let's find out what everybody thinks and feels, even though it seems clear what direction most of the nation will be going in, but that's not for me to say. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Back to the phones we go. Let's go to Josh in Texas. You're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. What's up?
What's up, Stephen A?
Talk
Good
to me.
Hear from you, man.
Thank you, man. What's up?
I have a bone to pick with you, and it involves America's team, the one and only Dallas Cowboys.
Lord, oh, man. Oh, God. What?
Here's the question. You've called us the most delusional and worst fan base in all of sports.
Yes.
So I want to know, from Stephen A., in the perfect Stephen A. world, what would the Dallas Cowboy fan base look like? Do we not celebrate any wins? Do we never?
No. You know what you would look like? You know what you would look like? You look like a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You know, I'll take it a step further. You look like a New York Jets fan. Are you ready for this? Jets, Jets, all that nonsense they spew. Yeah. You hear none of that when they're losing. None of it. What you hear on talk radio and beyond? Guys' frustrations ballooning to the point where they want to throw something at the team. Where the team is scared to show up in public because the Jets stink up the joint so much, so often in the past. They can't tolerate it. Where guys get run out and Woody Johnson and ownership can't sit there and sell the public on a subpar product. That's what you want to see. Not a team that could go 3-13, 2-14, 1-15, and they turn around. We're going to be all right. Watch. Next year, we're going to win it. Y'all are pathetic. That's the problem.
You want us to march on Jerry World with signs in hand?
You should. You know why? Because Jerry does a good job of pumping up the Cowboys brand. But what has he done for you as a Cowboy? By the way, where are you living? Where are you living right now?
Irving, Texas, sir.
All right, so you're right there. So how many games do you get to go to?
I've been to a couple.
All right, forget the guy. But you're right there, so it don't matter. You're right there in Irving, Texas. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel knowing how often Jerry bloviates about his Cowboys only to give you one disappointing season after another? How old are you, Josh?
I am 27,
So
sir.
you're 27, Josh, and in the last 20 years... Hold on. In the last 20 years, what has the Cowboys done?
Nothing. You want to know the worst stat? And believe me, Cowboy fans, contrary to popular belief, have memorized the stats almost as good, if not better, than everybody else.
Okay.
The only 3 teams to never even be in an NFC championship game. You ready for this?
Yep.
Are the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
The Washington Racial
Cincinnati
Slurs.
Bengals.
I'm saying NFC.
Oh, NFC. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Are the Detroit Lions, the Washington Racial Slurs, and the Dallas Cowboys. In 20 years. Every other team has at least been to an NFC Championship game.
Okay.
Now they might have lost.
Hold on for a second. Don't get off that easy. Don't get off that easy. Let's go. So you say you're 27, right? Let's go from the time you were 7 years of age, 1995. 1995, how old were you?
I was 6.
All right, you were 6 years old. In that span, all right, here are the Dallas Cowboys, 10-6, 6-10. 10-6, 8-8, 5-11, 5-11, 5-11. 10-6, 6-10, 9-7, 9-7. 13-3, 9-7. 11-5, 6-10, 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. You had your 1-12-4 season, and then 4-12. Model of inconsistency, no continuity, mediocrity, and all in between. And y'all stick out y'all chests every year like next year's going to be special. That is why I can't stand y'all. That is why I think y'all delusional.
It's funny you should mention that because you know another fan base that does that, and I'm going to take it to a different sport.
Who's that?
And that would be your New York Yankees, sir.
Is that what you just said? You're hilarious. Thank you for saying that. Really? You're going to say that with a straight face? Well, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you looked at the Yankees? When's the last time you looked at the Yankees, sir? Because let me tell you something right now. Take away, these are the New York Yankees, okay? Granted, only one World Series. Only one World Series since 2000. That's 15 years. But they had one World Series. But in between 2000 and their World Series, okay, they had made the playoffs every year but one and went to 2 ALCSs and lost one World Series, okay? After winning the World Series, they went to 2 more ALCSs. 1 divisional playoff game, 1 wild card, even though they've missed the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. How could you even compare the Dallas Cowboys to them?
What I'm comparing is the fan bases. What I'm saying is, and you know for a fact because I've been watching First Take for years. I remember a few years ago, you and Skip sat in some bar with the mayor of New York at the time, Rudy Giuliani. And you know what he said? Rudy Giuliani said that on day 1 of spring training, that the one thing Yankees fans have in common is they think that they're going to win the World Series. Every year.
Hold on, wait a minute. You're being disingenuous. That was years ago when they kept making the playoffs. Nobody has said that in the last 3 years about the New York Yankees. Hell no. That's a lie. Okay, that's number 1. And number 2, we have 27 championships to lean back on. Okay? And by the way, it hasn't been that infrequent. We won a World Series in 2009. We didn't win the last Super Bowl championship in 1995. It doesn't work, bro. You don't have an argument. Josh, have a nice day. Enjoy Irving, Texas, and your mediocre team that brings down America. Let's go to Daryl in Arkansas. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Daryl?
Stephen A., nice talk to you. Hey, I just want to ask you, with your discuss with the Cowboys fans, the fan base, do you think that one day you may have the same disgust with a LeBron James fan base because of their delusion as to him being greater or being comparable to Michael Jordan?
Possibly, but I do understand where it's coming from the standpoint that he's been to 6 consecutive NBA finals. And I think that they come to his defense because of the hate they believe he receives. So we understand that portion of it also. I wouldn't quite go there, but they are beginning to get a bit annoying to me because I'm a fan of LeBron James, but they are beginning to get a bit annoying to me, I must admit.
I admit it as well. Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate the love. Let's go to TJ in Connecticut. You're live with Stephen A. Amanda. What's up?
Hello?
Go on, man. Turn off your radio, bro. You're live on the air. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, you're live on the air. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Turn off your damn radio. Maybe you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Go ahead, man.
How you doing? Shout out to Stephen A. Smith. You're a blessing.
I appreciate that.
I don't miss it airing the First Take. It's my favorite show. DVR is always set.
Thank you, bro. Go ahead.
But I'm so sick of this comparison to LeBron and the great Michael Jordan when, in my eyes, he's not even better than Kobe.
You're not the only one that feels that way.
Shout out to Laker Nation. Lakers, let's go.
No, just stop it. Stop it. You're not allowed to say that on this show the way they've looked over the last couple of years. You know that, right? Stop that. Go ahead. Oh, you dropped. I'm sorry. Tanner in Florida, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, Tanner?
Hey, how's it going, Stephen A?
Talk to me, man.
I just want to touch on that Tim Tebow. I'm here in Gainesville, so we got a lot of love for Tebow here. What's interesting to me, man, you look at this guy, and he's got, it looks like equal amount of hate and love. And, he brings fans to the game. So I guess my question to you would be, in this, outstanding opportunity that he does have, and this incredible, this chance that he does have to make something of himself in another league. I know that you think it's way far off, but do you think it'd be good for the MLB, man, to get a guy?
I don't think the MLB needs a Tim Tebow when they have a Mike Trout, when they have a Bryce Harper who has struggled this year, and some of these other guys. I don't think they need a Tim Tebow as much. I think the NFL could utilize him more, except that he can't throw, so they can't help but avoid him.
Absolutely. Okay, I definitely agree with that. For me, man, I look at this guy and he didn't really get a fair shot. How was that defense in comparison? He was playing with the Broncos when he was playing with the Broncos and he won that one playoff game. Do you think he'd excel with the defense they have now, or at least get one more playoff game? If the tables were turned as far as where he was in that position or not?
Well, listen, I just think that when you look at Tim Tebow, here's the reality. He's lucky to get the opportunities that he's getting, and the fact of the matter is he's getting it because of popularity as opposed to potential. There's plenty of dudes out there that have potential. He's getting it because of popularity.
Sure, and I think that there's an equal amount of weight on him because of the amount of media attention, and he knows what he's going to get, whether he fails or even if he succeeds. So I think that, I don't think we're giving him enough credit for actually taking this chance.
Listen. Well, he doesn't deserve any credit for taking the chance. He has nothing to lose. But just to hear no again, what's the big deal? I mean, listen, if he's got some skills, God bless him. I just think that he's getting chances that most people would never get, even with his ability or better ability.
Sure. He's powerful. He's strong, man. So you might get a decent hitter out of him. But again, like you said, man, the throwing mechanics is huge in baseball. So you probably won't compare it to anybody great. So I appreciate you taking the call, man. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Let's go to Nathan in New Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. What's up?
What's up, Stephen A.? How you doing today?
I'm good. Talk to me.
Real quick, with Tim Tebow, I agree with everything you said. This has to do all about popularity and publicity. I think this is a publicity move. I don't think this is a thing. So I feel like, in my opinion, this is not a real thing. Hopefully, the agent saying it is, I don't know, kind of. Do you think that's it? It's all about publicity because he's popular, but I don't. Because do you think he's gonna take away the limelight if he gets into the minor leagues or something like that?
Well, listen, he's going to bring a lot of attention to himself. As a result, minor league athletes playing alongside him inevitably will get attention because as the scouts show up to watch Tim Tebow, they'll get to see those other guys. So they'll view it as a positive. But in the end, if he ends up getting a chance that they don't get and he's not better than them, that would warrant a lot of resentment without question.
Is it okay if I can get one more point in?
Hurry up.
All right. The one team that I came up with that might go to his workout is the Marlins, because the owner of the Marlins is always they want the big splash name. So I think the Marlins might be at the workout. I don't know.
Who cares? We'll see. Who cares about specifics? 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. This 888-623-3646. Your phone call to close out the show in a minute with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. Dog Sports Radio. Some news to inform you all of. That Hall of Fame game that was canceled this past weekend. Jim Trotter for ESPN, NFL Insider. He's on NFL Live right now as we speak, actually, on ESPN. Received a memo. Troy Vincent, Executive VP Football Operations, the National Football League, accepts responsibility for Hall of Fame game field conditions, sends memo to all 2 teams. Quote, while the Hall of Fame situation underscored the challenges in working with third parties, ultimately I am accountable for ensuring the field is of the highest standard, said Vincent, who added that the league's football operations department, quote, must demand and expect an extra level of detail in adhering to NFL standards for non-club fields, end quote. So Troy Vincent accepts responsibility. Troy Vincent, the same man that handed down the penalty against Tom Brady, if I remember correctly, who was in Foxborough for that AFC Championship game where the Deflategate ultimately took place. Here's the deal. It's a bad look. Now, ultimately, you can sit up there and say the buck stops with Roger Goodell. That's true. But sometimes the buck stops with Troy Vincent, too. I like Troy Vincent. Covered him in Philadelphia. Known him for years. Bad mistake. Bad mistake. There's no other way to slice it. That simply cannot happen. But he accepted responsibility. We move forward because he ain't the one that sprayed the field and watched paint congeal at midfield and the end zone to the point where it hardened, where it became unsafe. They just should have made sure things were taken care of earlier. But he still can't be absolved from it. He accepts accountability. I'm quite sure some sort of punishment will go his way, and that is that. Vincent stated going forward, the NFL and the NFLPA Field Surface Safety and Performance Committee will study and advise on injury prevention, improved field surfaces testing methods, the adoption of tools and techniques to evaluate an improved field surface performance, playability, and other areas that arise, such as those surrounding this incident. So, in other words, let's move forward. Let me tell you how they should move backwards. The NFL should move backwards not just by refunding patrons money for their game tickets, but anything else that they can show that are direct expenditures for their trip. If they had a hotel bill, that should be paid for. If they had gas money, that should be paid for. If they had a plane ticket, that should be paid for. That's how you resolve that. Anything short of it, as far as I'm concerned, is unacceptable. 888-MAD-DOG-6, that's 888-623-3646. Randy in Indianapolis, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Hey, Stephen A. It's good to talk to you, man. You're a credit to your field. I just want to get your intake on, I'm a Bear fan, and I take a lot of puff from the Cowboy fans, and I just wonder if you could go in depth the last 10 years, what you think about it and what you think about John Fox.
What do I think about it in terms of what? I heard the John Fox part, but what do I think about what?
About John Fox and how the Bears are moving the way they're moving.
Well, I think, listen, John Fox has proven he can coach. Maybe not win a Super Bowl championship because he's lost 2 in Carolina and then in Denver, but he's proven that he knows what he's doing. Okay? He's proven that he knows what he's doing. And that, again, you got Jay Cutler, so you better focus on the running game. Because if he focuses on the passing game and allows Jay Cutler, your future to ride with Jay Cutler, it ain't going to be a very long one.
Yeah.
Ain't going to be a very long one, I'll tell you that.
You're right on it, man. But, also talk about, the Cowboy fans I know here talk about how that last 10 years or whatever, how about the Bears, but they haven't been really knocking down the door either, along with the Bears. And, I just wanted to make that comment.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Brandon in St. Louis, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead.
What's up, Stephen A.? What's going on with you, man?
Talk to me.
Hey, real quick. So everyone that calls in with this LeBron, Michael Jordan competition thing, they're all ridiculous. Basically, man, anyone that says, okay, well, LeBron's been to 6 championships, maybe he's been to 7, maybe he'll go to 7, 8, 9, and Jordan is 6-0. Jordan is 6-0, but people don't consider that he retired for 2 of those years, and he could easily be 8-0. It's not as if, I love Hakeem Olajuwon, the dream is the dream, but it's not as if Houston would have definitely beaten those Bulls teams, and I think 94 and 95. In fact, they probably would not have beaten them.
Well, I think that Scottie Pippen and that Chicago Bulls team without Jordan would have beaten Houston.
I agree. So I guess, and that's my point. I mean, it's like everyone always brings up that one stat. Jordan is 6-0, cool. And LeBron's been to an umpteen million championships in a row. That's cool, too. And that makes LeBron a great player. But you can't just ignore the fact that Jordan took 2 years off. And those 2 years, those Houston teams are great, but that's the definition of what an asterisk should be. I mean, an asterisk has to be over for those Houston championships because they would not have gotten them had Jordan been in the NBA.
I got you. Appreciate it, man. I got to run. Thank you so much. BB in Tennessee, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Stephen A., how you doing, man? I want to elaborate on what the gentleman just said there. I think what everybody misses with this LeBron and Michael thing, I watch sports for entertainment. Michael changed the era. He came along with Mars Blackman, the shoes, the dunk contest, Dominique Wilkins, the whole 9 yards. His entire aura. LeBron just does not even come close to that at all. I mean, he could walk away from the game now. People may be sad, but do you remember the day Mike walked away, what the country was like?
Man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, BB. I'm glad you brought that up. I was there in Chicago for Michael Jordan's retirement. It was like a morgue. I mean, it was such sadness. It was unbelievable. It was like it was a funeral. A nationwide funeral. Seriously. And could you imagine how it was in Chicago? If you talk about where you were, whether it's Tennessee or somewhere else, how bad it was? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I will say this, even today, I can sit up late and watch the Golden State Warriors because I like entertainment. I can't sit up late and watch Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm sorry. I know LeBron is a bad boy, but I wouldn't stay up late to watch him.
He's still the greatest small forward that ever played the game, though. I'll give him that.
No doubt.
All right. Thanks a lot, bro. Appreciate it. Let's go to Bill in New York. You're live with Stephen A. Real quick, Bill. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. I want to talk about the Tim Tebow, the fascination with Tim Tebow.
As long as you can hurry up. Go ahead.
I see parallels towards him and Donald Trump's nomination as a Republican. Both are unqualified, but people want to give them a chance because of their personality. And once Tebow played in the NFL, people thought that you didn't have to be qualified. I mean, the other players knew it. The other players knew you could see Tim Tebow didn't belong, and they'll go it in baseball. And likewise, the other politicians and other leaders know Trump is unqualified, doesn't belong, yet the public wants to give it a chance. And it's really distressing.
Well, listen, I wouldn't say it's distressing because the fact of the matter is that, you want to see people compete. Listen, you can say what you want. Listen, again, if you're costing other people opportunities, I have a problem with that. But Tim Tebow might be doing that, but Donald Trump is not. There were 16 other candidates that went up against him. He smoked them all. You can say what you want. He smoked them all. And regardless of how you may feel about him, there's a vast number of Americans that are supporting him. That cannot be ignored. Hillary and Donald is going to be very, very interesting. I wish I could say the same about Tebow in Major League Baseball, but we'll see. Mad Dog Russo's Afternoon Drive Show up next is Stephen A. signing off.
This summer,